My name's Rudy, and if this is your first time here, I am a YouTube gaming creator just like you, but I want to help you grow your audience and influence on YouTube as well as Twitch. Now, if you want to start a YouTube gaming channel, there's a couple of things that I want to go ahead and tell you about in regards to everything, because I've had a YouTube gaming channel for 5 years. I've learned the ins and outs of what it is specifically that you need to do in order to grow your audience and influence. And honestly, more than anything else, there's a couple of tips near the end of this video that might not be something that you think about, especially when you're first starting out, but in hindsight, I wish that I would have known these things. So let's just get into it. First and foremost, when you're starting your channel, the first thing that you want to do is grow, right? You want to go ahead and get views, you want to go ahead and get subs. Let's go ahead and talk about videos that actually work, videos that will get you subs as well as views. First and foremost, as a content creator on YouTube, someone that's starting out, you want to target search. And why? Because people, when they go to search, it's a lot easier for newer channels to go up in ranking. And the faster that you get content out, the better, especially in the gaming industry. So what's something that gets a lot of views and is very fast? Reactions. Once you go ahead and get a reaction video out, if you're one of the first ones out, when people start searching for whatever it is that's out, your video should go ahead and be near the top. Obviously, when you're doing reactions, you want to go ahead and be genuine. That's something that I do want to go ahead and emphasize. If you're disingenuine, people are going to call you out. They're just going to know right off the bat that you're faking it or that you're not real. And once they do that, they're going to be turned off completely, and they're going to tell YouTube to stop recommending your channel to them at all. Remember the timeliness that I talked about earlier in the video? Reactions are very easy because once the trailer is up, whatever event is happening, you go ahead and record whatever it is that you want to do or stream whatever it is you want to go ahead and do. And once it's posted, it's up, it's live, and there, it lives up there forever online. Once a game releases at midnight, or if you get it early, you can go ahead and stream it to your audience. And if you go ahead and set up your description, your title, as well as your metadata with a clickable thumbnail, then chances are YouTube will go ahead and show it to people that haven't heard of you, that haven't even seen you in regards to the gaming channels that they look at. And the beautiful thing about this is that you'll get new eyeballs on your channel. You'll be able to stream whatever it is that you have, and people will honestly be able to interact with you, ask you questions, tell you whether or not there's tips or tricks that they know about, or you can provide insight on whether or not this game is worth it for them to go ahead and purchase. As you go ahead and have this interaction with people, you are going to go ahead and naturally grow your audience. People will go ahead and start returning to see whatever it is that you're doing. Having a streaming schedule does help with this, of course, but having that interaction and having that natural growth on things will go ahead and allow your channel to naturally just flourish on the platform. Having that searchability and everything go into play as well in VODs, because once you stream and have everything said and done, or have your reactions and they're all said and done, having that searchability factor and having constant viewership coming in helps. Remember, YouTube was first a VOD platform before they even considered live streaming. Twitch was honestly one of the pioneers when it came to live streaming. YouTube has done a lot to catch up, especially on the latency platform of things. But once the video is done, once the stream is done, that's it. It's there online. People can search for it. People can find it unless you unlist it or make it private. One of the main goals as a channel is to get monetized. You want to go ahead and make money as fast as possible, so to speak. So you want to go ahead and get views and subs. Some of the video content ideas that I shared with you, those are very quick and easy ways to gain a larger audience on things. But there's something else that you want to go ahead and take into consideration. Once you have your 1,000 subs, once you have your 4,000 hours, and you actually get into the YouTube Partner Program, or YPP, you want to go ahead and ensure that you are continuously getting views. Subs, they'll come over time. They'll come naturally. You don't necessarily need to worry about that. But when it comes to actually getting money and getting some sort of ad revenue going, you want to go ahead and target views. Easiest way to go ahead and do this is to go ahead and focus on creating an awesome thumbnail and having searchability put in place in the title, description, as well as the metadata of whatever content it is that you're putting out. If there's anything else that I can also say is that you want to go ahead and target watch hours. And the reason why I say this is because YouTube essentially loves people being on their platform. It makes sense, right? You have an advertising platform. You want to go ahead and have AdSense going as much as possible, and you want people to see as many ads as possible. The longer that they're on the platform, the more that their ads get served to them, and the more money gets essentially put everywhere. And that's something that people need to go ahead and take into consideration whenever they're creating content. Whenever you're creating content, you want to go ahead and have your content be as engaging as possible, as long as possible, and providing whatever information the searcher or the user or the audience is looking for as fast as possible. I hope that that goes ahead and makes sense and is a little bit contradictory, but in the grand scheme of things, it works. Trust me, it works. Once you go ahead and actually get into YPP, there's a couple of options that you have. There is the YouTube membership that goes ahead and allows for you to monetize your channel and go ahead and make a little bit of extra money on the side. It's essentially the equivalent of Twitch subs. Twitch subs, they are there, and the cool thing about it is that Prime Gaming or Amazon Prime has essentially a free sub that they can go ahead and give out to whatever channel they want on a monthly basis. YouTube hasn't done anything like that yet. Maybe that's something that they'll go ahead and they'll put into something. But as of right now, YouTube membership is essentially an audience member's way of saying, hey, I want to support you. I want to support your channel on a month-to-month basis. This also goes ahead and unlocks emotes. This goes ahead and allows for special signs or significations that, hey, this person that is in chat, they actually support the channel and they're actually a fan, so to speak. Of course, there's other avenues that you can go ahead and take from the get-go that allow for monetization on a YouTube channel. First and foremost, you can go ahead and have merchandise. Secondly, there's always Patreon. Patreon is actually really awesome, and I always go ahead and push for Patreon simply because of the fact that if YouTube by any chance goes bye-bye, or your channel gets a copyright strike, or you all of a sudden have your channel deleted or hacked, Patreon is a way for you to go ahead and have your audience someplace else and support you someplace else, and you don't have all your eggs in one basket. That's something that a lot of people in the business world, they say, hey, don't have your eggs all in one basket, because if a ship sinks, then you have something else to keep you afloat in the grand scheme of things. Of course, there's also affiliate marketing. This is something that we see all the time from Amazon as well as other providers that are out there. Speaking of affiliate marketing, this video is brought to you by TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is honestly one of the easiest ways for somebody that is starting out on YouTube to go ahead and figure out what keywords to target, whether or not there's a lot of competition in said keywords, or if there is an actual opportunity for you, the content creator, to go ahead and pop up in search. Follow the link in the description below, and that'll go ahead and give you free 30 days. That'll go ahead and give you access to the entirety of it, and you can see whether or not this is something that works for you and your content that you provide to your audience. Now, I've talked about ways to grow. I've talked about how to go ahead and make money, but there's also business that we need to go ahead and talk about. There's the business side of things that we need to go ahead and talk about. First and foremost, you want to go ahead and realize that you're not only creating a channel, you're also creating a brand. And a lot of people, they think that a brand is a logo, and that's simply not the case. A brand is essentially a feeling or an idea that is essentially put out into the world. If you are going to go ahead and create a gaming channel, you want to go ahead and ensure that you get all of the social media handles across all of the platforms. That way you have control of your brand. The moment that somebody goes ahead and realizes that you don't have your social media handle claimed on a specific platform, they can go ahead and get it from themselves, and they can go ahead and start to plagiarize. They can go ahead and start to impersonate you and essentially do whatever they want with your brand and your persona. On top of that, you want to go ahead and make sure that when you're branding and keeping things in mind, you want to go ahead and think of, oh, this is the emotion that I want to evoke. This is essentially what I want my audience to be like. And I can go ahead and talk a little bit more about whether or not this is something that you should go ahead and take into consideration. But as you go ahead and grow this brand and grow this social media presence, you're going to go ahead and get something that is essentially called true fans. And true fans are completely different than anything else that is in your audience. And I'll dive a little bit more about true fans, because honestly, it deserves an entire video dedicated to just that in a later video. So make sure that you subscribe. That way you can go ahead and get notified when that actually gets released. But after that, once you have everything set up and things are going and running, the next thing that you want to go ahead and worry about is time management. As a streamer or content creator, you aren't necessarily going to be starting out doing this full time. This is something that if you want it to be a career, it's going to take time for you to develop. It's going to take time for you to go ahead and grow your audience and grow your influence, which is fine. But with the limited amount of time that you have, you don't want to dedicate all of it just to being online or streaming and being there all the time. You want to go ahead and segregate things things so that they make sense. If you have, for let's say 20 hours a week available to you to kind of like figure out what it is that you want to go in and do, maybe 2.5, maybe 5 hours out of that, you can go ahead and dedicate towards streaming and actually interacting and growing your audience. The rest of it, you can go ahead and dedicate towards either creating videos on YouTube or creating searchable videos on YouTube, and then maybe trying to figure out what type of content you want to go ahead and grow, what type of content you want to go ahead and come up with that you can either A, stream, or B, record offline and upload onto video on YouTube. This is something that a lot of people, when they're starting out, especially in gaming channels, they just kind of want to go ahead and stream, and that's what's going to go ahead and help them grow. The more that they stream, the better, and that's really kind of not how it works anymore. It did back in the day, but now it's more about creating searchability and providing some form of content that will go ahead and be somewhat evergreen and will go ahead and allow you to grow while you're not even streaming. With time management comes business management, and this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily realize when they're starting out. If you want this to be a career, if you want this to be your full-time thing, you have to go ahead and ensure that you are actually treating it like a business. Again, I'm talking about the 1,000 fans. I'm talking about making sure that your brand is set up and ready to go. I'm talking about making sure that your social media handles are all there. Claim them all, even if you're not interacting on them. Claim them all, even if you're not active, because at least they're yours and you don't have to worry about it. That's something that honestly I've seen too many times happen, even with large companies that are out there. Do yourself a favor, get it all said and done. Now, when it comes to business management, yes, there's a lot of things that go into play, but for the most part, you want to treat this like a business. You are the content creator, you are essentially the product, and you want to go ahead and present it in the best light possible. You want to go ahead and sell it in the best light possible. And that way you can go ahead and gain the largest audience and also the largest influence on whatever platform it is that you are on. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. Obviously subscribe, that way you can go ahead and see the next video that I'm working on. And until next time, guys, peace.